Yo.
All right, guys, give your mics a little check.
Mic check, 1, 2.
It's been a while. Since I've seen you guys in real life.
Dude,
It's been all virtual.
It has been. We're living a virtual world.
Virtual world. It's okay. We're allegedly all together right now. Because I don't know if it's still... No, it's okay now, I think. Are we is this 6? Yeah, it's close.
I think the fact that we're not recording in front of a live studio audience today. I think we're okay.
Yeah, and that's hard to do.
And that's usually what we do. We record in front of a big audience, but today, even though we're celebrating a big milestone in our podcast history, we felt like this should be a more intimate thing, just to be respectful of Gavin Newsom.
We're in triple digits now, guys. Like, this is we're breathing new air right now. Episode 100. That's crazy. Episode 100. All right, let's do it. You guys ready?
Well, next milestone is
2 years.
Well, 2 years, or can say 1,000.
Oh God.
Are we going to be there for the 1,000?
Whoa.
Going to 4 digits?
Whoa.
Pump the brakes there. Pump the brakes.
Oh, I'm sitting on something.
That's going to be like 10 years from now. We're still recording.
Yeah, right?
James is on. James says hi.
Hey.
Shout out,
Hey,
James.
congratulations. Shaylee's on here, my beautiful wife. Congratulations to us.
Wow, okay.
Podcast wife.
Damn.
Yep.
Very
Thank
nice.
you guys for tuning in.
She's like our team mom. Shirley's like our team mom.
Well, James, just because you're winning a lot in fantasy doesn't mean...
Well, I mean, he was dethroned by yours truly over here.
But who knocked him out of playoffs this last year?
It doesn't matter who won, who took the title.
You want to knock off the champ. You don't want to win the championship. You want to knock off the champion.
Hey now. Let's be nice to one of our two viewers right now.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. All right, should we do it?
Yeah,
let's do the episode. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Three amigos and a podcast. Episode 100.
100.
This is one of the times I think it's appropriate to say the episode number.
We went 0 to 100 week by week. It wasn't real quick. We didn't go there. But yeah, episode 100, kind of crazy. I mean, you think about it, well, in 2 weeks, it'll be our 2 year, because 52, obviously, 102.
Really?
No,
4
50,
weeks.
54. Yeah.
I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, hold up.
Well,
Or,
52
no,
is a full year, 52 and 52 is 104.
104th
So,
episode,
yeah,
sorry.
so in 4 weeks, we'll have our 2 year.
You can tell we're really good with math.
Yeah, quick math.
So
Yeah, man.
But last year, we did our little thing at the Ballast Point. This year, obviously, with everything going on, it's a little bit different.
Social distancing.
Yeah.
So look out. We're going to rent out Petco Park. It's just going to be us running the podcast out of Petco Park.
So I did something in this room. That I've been promising Brandon for like a year now.
What?
I've hung the
Damn.
Ballast Point sign.
That took long enough. Holy shit.
I hung the sign, guys. I
So
didn't know where to put it.
I bought
had
that-
a screw there already. Ballast Point signs hung.
So I bought that last year for Dean for his birthday, along with some other shit, and he just barely hung the sign.
I got it done, guys.
So this is like, what? So April 1st, and now we're in...
Who knows?
Almost done with May, so about a year, 14 months total.
Who knows?
Took you that long, Dean.
Took me a while. My
It's
turn. to
okay, as
control.
long as you got the job done.
My turn to control now. Oh, Leah waved at us. Hi, Leah.
Shout out, to the other third of the people listening, my other part of my family, Leah.
1/3.
So, anyways,
Damn.
we like to, every week start the podcast off with how the week was, how you guys were doing. So, how you guys doing?
Dude, it's been a good week so far. Kind of got back into my exercise routine now that I got everything set up, ready to go. Work's been fine. I'm finishing my last week and a half-ish of school. So I had my last final for econ today. I have my last final for anthropology on Wednesday. And then I have to finish one sociology one next week. So yeah, it's been good.
Nice. B, how you been doing? I know you've been kind of dreading this whole stay-at-home order. The quarantine's kind of been getting to you. But
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
coming to a close. So
yeah, it's not too bad. It's not all doom and gloom. Just working, working like a dog. Um, really, honestly, it's been nothing too exciting. Just working out when I can, just going out. Got to see Dama. That's always a good thing. Outside of that, I mean, nothing too spectacular. Slowly starting to piece together my little home gym. Hopefully that'll be together pretty soon.
very nice.
How about yourself?
So Ryan and I went. Ryan's getting a phone call. Declining that.
Declining
Who's calling
that.
me right now?
Decline. So with everything going on with like the quarantine and stuff, they're starting to open things back up. So on Friday, I think they said golf courses were going to be open. So Ryan and I went golfing last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Went with my dad and John. Then I spent the rest of the week just doing like yard work and stuff.
Can't pull the flag still.
Dude, it was so funny because on the first hole we went to, John and Rollo they just didn't know. And so they noticed that like in the hole there was like a new socket. And they're like, what the hell is this thing? You can't even hit the ball in the hole. And I'm like, well, you're not supposed to remove the flag. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it was so funny.
They were
John pulled it
shocked.
on the first one.
Yeah.
He was like, I was like, oh, I don't think you're supposed to pull it.
And like
oh.
me and Dean were so casual about it. Like, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. I mean, it's cool.
You don't want to make them feel bad
Yeah.
about it, but
I mean,
But,
it's the first hole. We were golfing, but it was funny.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
just don't put your hands near your mouth and
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Yeah, basically. I mean,
Oh.
it was fun though.
Wash your hands when you
can.
can. And There
Yeah.
you go.
They were serving beer, so we actually got to sit out at the golf course and drink beer. And I was like, this is the first public beer I've had in months, so this is fantastic.
It was and it was such a nice day out, and it was really cool to just kind of hang out and just be around, just
I
be
miss
out
that.
in public.
Drinking in public, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
man.
was-
It's it's one of those pleasures you take for granted.
yeah, definitely.
I don't like drinking at home. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Well, I don't mind it.
I don't
but-
mind it.
Yeah,
I know you don't mind it.
I don't
I
mind
don't-
it, but
I don't mind
I
it.
definitely prefer being out and about
Yeah.
and grabbing drinks. But it's more expensive, so
Yeah,
you gotta weigh it.
It's that bottom line. Got to make
Yep.
sure that bottom line's good.
I'm giving this back to you. It's just your wife now, so you guys are like you could be a FaceTime.
Well, I did a little smack talking on James. I thought I was going to keep him handy, but I guess he's too busy for
He
us.
bounced out.
He's like, I'm too good for this.
That's so unfortunate. I'm actually going to join from my phone, so it makes it look like more people.
I don't even know how you do this thing.
until my my phone dies.
This is how untext. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh wait, I see Brandon.
Oh, there you are.
You got to turn your
I was
sound
gonna
off,
say,
big guy.
please turn your volume off.
How do you do that? There you go. Sound like an old man.
Sound like an old man.
Send a request to be in Three Amigos live video. All right. Well, all right. I think we're a little distracted with this
I requested-
Instagram live. I think we should get to the meat and potatoes of the podcast. What do you think?
Well, I think that we actually should discuss what our meat and potatoes are going to be, so I could cut this part out. What's our meat and potatoes? What do we want to talk about?
Well, obviously we want to go over the Dak Prescott contract dispute.
Definitely want to do that.
We want to go over the Phil Mickelson Tiger Woods, the match number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what I called you about earlier today, that can roll into Dak's issue as well.
Yeah, I put some, the Dak stuff. Also,
we never talked about the Rams jersey, so we should probably lead off with that. since
yeah,
we're a
we'll do
little behind.
Rams jerseys, do the Dak contract, Carlos Hyde signed with the Seahawks,
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, I literally just saw that.
and I feel like there was another like quarterback signed as a back in
Joe
a backup
Flacco.
role. Flacco to the to the Jets. Yeah, Flacco.
Good old Fluco.
Jets. We got any MLB stuff?
No.
Well, it
No?
sounds like sports in general are moving back towards being something
Yeah.
legit.
Oh, look, we have Brandon without his hat on.
That's right. See how crazy my hair is?
Well, I think we should
I
start
can't
off.
more than anything. I can't wait for the barber shops to be back in business.
I actually did the sides of this by myself. Shaylee did the other, the back of it.
I need to get one of those little hair trimmers because
Come on over, man.
yeah,
It's just
I just need that.
I charge a 6-pack.
a 6-pack.
Mhm.
There you
a
go.
whole 6-pack.
A whole 6-pack.
A
I mean,
whole-
I'll say a 5-pack. I'll share one with you.
Just one.
They
I
give
only
you
get
one.
I'd do a 3-2 split or
Yeah.
something. You could keep
a 6-pack, and then we split
Hey, man,
it down
we
the
never
middle.
know. Hey, if we
Well,
start
it's like a
drinking
6-pack. I'll have like 2 of them, and you could have the 4. Or like we'll drink them together.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you're feeling.
I think this podcast needs to start off with baseball first off, because the biggest thing from the baseball world has happened to us this week, where we got that huge shout out video from Mark Grant, which was one of the coolest things I think I've ever received.
Yeah, dude, that shit
Well,
was pretty awesome.
I think it might have been the coolest thing that's happened to this podcast.
Definitely one of the coolest. Yeah,
I mean, I will say this, Enrique always goes above and beyond for us, and there's literally no way that we can pay him back at this point.
no, that was one of the coolest. That's like the coolest video you can get.
Yeah.
Almost
Well,
gifts.
I
you
feel
can
like we owe their podcast something. We just got to get creative.
Enrique.
Enrique. Yeah, we owe Enrique a big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the podcast is basically his baby. So
Yeah. I will say though, I mean, I know we're all out of sorts on this podcast and this intro. It's not really put together very well, but it's from last year to this year, how much our podcast has actually grown. Our downloads have almost doubled. We have a sponsor now, and then we get a shout out from Mark Grant. That's pretty cool. Those are some big things that's happened for our podcast.
milestones.
It definitely.
I mean, I know I'm speaking prematurely, but if we can get him on, that would be pretty sweet.
I will say, I think a goal for going into our 3rd year is to get a guest, like a legitimate,
Legit guess.
call-in guest. I think that's a goal. That would be fun. That'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
To, interview somebody, to have a legit
we
interview.
would have to be on our A game for sure.
Definitely. But
Not
yeah,
that we're always on our A game though, but
as
we'd have to be on
as we suck these down. Yeah, I'm on A game.
yeah, there we go. Well, it allows us to be a little,
Yeah.
more at ease,
But yeah, I definitely wanted to bring up that Mark Grant video because that was really cool. But yeah, like Brandon said, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. Obviously, with everything that's going on, and we've been talking about it for a while, that sports, who knows how sports are going to get back together. Thank God for the NFL, though. The NFL has been keeping the sporting news alive.
Oh, shout out to Andy, my old client.
Shout out Andy.
Yo, Andy.
Oh, shout out Enrique.
There we
There
go.
he is.
Wish you were here, buddy.
Enrique, we miss you.
We miss you.
But yeah, anyways, NFL, a lot of stuff happening over yesterday and today. But also last week, we forgot to mention that the Rams came out with their jerseys. The Rams jerseys.
Highlighters, basically.
Just what is that? What is that gray? What is it?
All right, so I don't think anybody had high expectations that those jerseys were going to look good, but I think they went above and beyond in how bad they looked.
Yeah.
Dude,
I wasn't. No one could expect that the jerseys were going to look that bad.
The white jerseys are basically a knockoff of the Michigan jerseys, but worse. It's white and yellow.
It's not white. It's
It's
like a cream.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross.
I mean,
I feel like I've been disappointed as a whole with the NFL jerseys that they've came out with this year.
what?
The jerseys as a whole, I feel like for the most part they haven't been spectacular.
I would say there are the new jerseys that have came out haven't been
the Chargers
as good as the
Chargers
good ones.
one is the
There's more
exception.
bad ones
but
than-
Okay, that's all I was waiting for.
but there's been more bad jerseys than good jerseys.
yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So that's why it's
Absolutely.
it's disappointing to have.
yeah,
No.
if you're gonna come out with new jerseys, that shit better be nice.
Yeah. But the Chargers jerseys are amazing.
Charger jerseys are
they're-
amazing.
Yeah.
You can't knock those in the slightest bit.
no, but
it's-
they came. There's a lot of teams that came out with new jerseys. This
I mean,
year.
Tampa Bay, the Browns, the Colts. I'm still certain the Colts didn't change their uniforms. I've
exactly
seen the
the
pictures, and it's not there. There's no difference.
There's no.
The Buccaneers. I like the Buccaneers going back to the old retro look. Who else? We had the Rams, the Chargers. I feel like there was another team too. The Falcons.
Patriots, Falcons. The Falcons were horrible.
The Falcons, and I feel like
just
red and black
font?
is just such an easy
so easy
it's
to look.
Such an easy color concept, and you could have crushed it. And instead, they came out with that jersey that basically looks like they're wearing an Ezekiel Elliott crop top.
It looks horrible. But obviously the latest one were the Rams jerseys. I just hate the helmets too. I think
the helmets are the part that I hate the least, but it's still not great.
And that's the bad part is you're just if it's everything else was done right, but the helmets still look that way.
No,
but
it's so funny too because they posted all these reaction videos from the Rams players, and I'm like, shut up! There's not a single person that actually looked at this uniform and was like, that's so cool. They're like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge fan of both LA teams having basically the same color scheme. I think that's ridiculous. I appreciate that the Chargers are going to complete powder blue and gold, so at least there's a slight color differential. But it's
even those the dark blue Charger jerseys.
The Chargers have historically, I thought I always view them as having the best jerseys in the league. They're at least in the top. They're for sure in the top 10, arguably top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you could make the argument for their last, I would say, few jerseys that they've been. I mean, the powder blues from this last one, the original powder blues, the early '90s navy, those were all.
I love the navy. I think is my favorite actually, with the thunderbolt going across the side there.
Yeah. I mean, it's just classic.
The say out jerseys basically.
Yeah, those are awesome. I mean, they had a lightning bolt on their shoulder
I think that
pad
might
instead
be
of piping.
my favorite jersey of all time. Actually,
I still love the powder blues
for football.
I love the powder
blues all day.
Yeah. I like the powder blues, but I still like the other one more.
All right, then other news in the NFL, we had
we're not a fashion podcast.
We
guys.
had the Dak Prescott contract controversy. I don't know. I still don't know what to believe with this. I don't know if I sent you guys that article about it. It was basically what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he was on a radio station in Texas. He said the Cowboys have given Dak an offer, a 5-year, $175 million, basically 35 throughout the years. Dak has turned it down, which one makes no sense because
he's not. I don't think he's even worth that contract.
I don't think you're worth that much. But with the current with what the market is and what it's going to be coming up, it makes sense where he feels like he needs to be placed at $35 million. But it's what more does he want? He's asking for 45. He wants if he's going to take the 5-year, he wants the first 4 at 35 mil and then that 5th year option as 45, which I just think is absurd.
I like Dak, but I don't view him as an elite quarterback, and I feel like he wants elite quarterback money. And he's still young and early in his career, so he has that room to grow. But I guess it's whether or not the Cowboys really feel like he can continue that growth and eventually be, top 5 quarterback in the league.
To answer your question, I mean, basically to go through this whole contract dispute, Dak Prescott's not worth $35 million a year. And I mean, that's Russell Wilson money. That's basically Ben Roethlisberger, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers. It's more than all of them. I mean, it puts him tied for the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. And he hasn't accomplished anything.
No.
Really.
I mean, to argue that he hasn't had a losing season to this point. I mean, he's put up good numbers. He threw for over 4,500 yards last year. His touchdown to interception ratio is spectacular. Blah, blah, blah. It's good stuff. It's not great. It's not elite.
And he's got a great team around him.
Yeah, absolutely. My issue with the quarterback contracts is that it turns into who's going to be the highest paid quarterback this year.
And it's constantly
and it's
being
always these freaking quarterbacks that are basically financially handicapping NFL teams because it's who's getting paid next. And the real issue is going to come, let's say that Dak Prescott signs a $40 million contract.
A year contract.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is going to be getting his contract next
And
year.
he'll get 45 or
so
something.
talk
But
about
he would at least earn that.
But the
I feel
difference
like he deserves
is
that.
all
money.
these other contracts are based off timing.
Yeah.
You're going to be seeing Patrick Mahomes with a contract that's based off timing and value. So, I mean, we might think that he's going to get $45 million. In reality, he should be getting closer to $50 million.
Yeah.
Can a team pay him that with the current salary cap? Not a chance.
Yeah.
So it handicaps all these teams.
That's
into,
almost half the salary cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were going to bring up the whole Patrick Mahomes thing with, his contract coming up next year.
Yeah.
And he's going to, obviously he's going to get, deserves
He deserves the money.
Like he deserves the next highest contract for a player. 100%.
Yeah.
I agree.
think the problem with Dak right now is it's,
who's next?
if he's there for 1 year, what's Patrick Mahomes going to get? And with me feeling that, like with Dak, I'm speaking as that, with Dak feeling that he is maybe not in that same ballpark, but he's like a tier he's in the same tier as Patrick Mahomes. I think he's like, well, I want to get paid similar to what he does. Because if you flip-flop the years, if Patrick Mahomes gets paid this year and Dak's next year, they offer Patrick Mahomes that $45 million contract this year. What's Dak going to ask for? What would Dak ask for next year?
40.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's but they would be more willing to accept his.
But the
40
difference
then.
is that like the rest of the NFL does not want Dak Prescott to sign a $40 million deal because they don't want them setting the bar that high for a mediocre player, because then it's going to turn around when Lamar Jackson is going to be due for his contract signing, when Kyler Murray, when all these other quarterbacks that
escalation.
Are still,
that's what it is. It's a contract escalation for quarterbacks
in a market where quarterbacks are right now the best we've seen in a long time from top to bottom, meaning that there's really good quarterbacks that should be starting in the NFL that are backup quarterbacks.
Yes.
There's really good quarterbacks that aren't even in the NFL.
I feel
right
like
now.
we haven't seen depth at quarterback like this ever.
Ever. I mean, because we've always looked at, how quarterbacks develop, but now they put so much time and effort into recruiting quarterbacks that they get into the NFL, and if they're in the right system, they perform very well. So this contract escalation is going to continue unless the Cowboys stand pat with their offer. And I think that's the situation that they're in right now, is they're trying to not force this into becoming, we're going to give this guy $40 million a year, and then when the year 2028 comes around, quarterbacks are going to be making $60 million a year, and they're going to have a $7 million a year left tackle protecting them. Mm-hmm. Because they're just not going to be able to financially do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, this breaks down from, I think it was in 2010 when they started doing the automatic rookie contracts, where they took away the right to negotiate with NFL players. I feel like if quarterbacks were to be able to negotiate their contracts at the beginning of their career, then we wouldn't see this giant hiccup at the 3-year mark, about to go into their 4th year when they're going to sign that contract. Mm-hmm. For instance, if, let's say, Patrick Mahomes was drafted number 10 or 11 overall, and he got to sign a 6-year contract worth $20 million, you can extend the life of that contract, pay him more up front, and then he won't have to, if he performs, then you pay him. Yeah. It's these 4-year deals that get signed at 3 years where they're handicapped into making a decision on if this player is going to progress and if they want to let them hit the market. Mm-hmm. If you have a bust, it's easy to let them walk. If you have a player that's on the fringe, i.e. your Carson Wentz, your, who's the other one? Jared Goff, your, who's the other one? Jacoby Brissett, like those type players, it's like, did they deserve $27 million a year? No, but you didn't want to have to go out and draft another quarterback.
So this is a question I would ask both of you guys is, do you think the league should step in and implement some sort of structuring when it comes to contracts, when it goes to quarterbacks, with regards to quarterbacks, so they can negotiate maybe certain terms, extra years or something like that, but the dollar amount would be a fixed percentage of the cap?
That makes more sense to me. The issue is that it heavily disfavors quarterbacks in the NFL draft, meaning like the top player is going to make about $8 million a year, which is about a third of what average quarterbacks are making. And then running backs are paid, if they're drafted in the first round, a lot more on average than, like, basically if you're drafted in the first round, the top 10, you're a top 5 paid running back. So it favors everybody but quarterbacks. Yeah. And so that's why they want this massive deal. So the percentage makes sense. Yeah. But how do you factor that into every other position is what would make me hesitant about it.
And plus, I think then you get into the whole, like, how baseball has to deal with, it's like shortstop versus third baseman. Now you have a player like Taysom Hill. What do you factor him into? Are you willing to get him into that same tier as
Taysom Hill would not get the full percentage of whatever. He wouldn't be a starting quarterback. So he's a backup quarterback.
So then you're tiering out backup versus starting.
Yes, but it would be a percentage based off of let's just, for example, since we're using Dak Prescott as an example, he would take up 30% of the Cowboys salary cap, which is a pretty damn good contract for him. Which is, I think, more than he's worth me personally. But anyways, so throw that percentage out there. You're going to pay him 30%. You can pay, that's the max amount he could make. Taysom Hill could make however much he wants, whether,
Are you talking about coming out of the NFL draft or
basically,
just in general?
I'm thinking in like NBA terms where max contracts, you get a percentage.
Oh, so you're not talking about the draft. You're just meaning in general.
In general, through free agency. Gotcha. Let's say so Dak Prescott's a free agent right now. Mm-hmm. And he wants to get $35 million a year. Well, I mean, they've offered him $35 million, but he wants $45 million. I'm sorry, and so 45 is a massive percentage of their salary cap. If they fixed it at a certain cap, you're like, look, you're not making more than this percentage, because if you do that, you're going to affect the rest of your team. Yeah. You're going to have shit surrounding you, and you're going to put a bad product out on the field. Yeah. And it's one way to safeguard the teams from making a bad decision that will hamstring them long term.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't dislike. First of all, the NBA setup is way better than the NFL as far as contract goes.
It's different because you got a starting 5 and that's it.
But I mean, as far as like the reward for staying with your team, like the bird rights and all that kind of stuff, the being able to sign over the salary cap if it's after.
Well, that's a unique thing. I'm just saying for like percentage wise purposes.
Well, I understand the NBA is. They do their contract negotiation with players better. I mean, I think that. I think that the NFL handicaps their players to staying with a team for too long and not allowing them to test their value on a free agent market. But I don't know if the percentage is necessarily, because I don't think that Dak Prescott should be making the same 30% as Patrick Mahomes. And that's the only reason I don't like that per se. Mm-hmm. The skew in player talent is a lot more drastic in football than it is in basketball, where, you're willing to pay 30% of your salary cap to James Harden, just like, the Lakers are willing to pay 30% of their salary cap to LeBron James. Like, they're both amazing players. Yeah. Obviously, like, you would rather have LeBron James. Yeah. But in this situation, it's like, I'm not paying Dak Prescott anything close to what Patrick Mahomes is getting for like maybe the number 10 or 11 quarterback versus the number 1.
Yeah, but they're still going to make that stupid decision regardless. Mm-hmm. So it's like Dak's going to get, I'm almost positive they're going to give him his money. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys can give him like $40 million a year, and he's not worth.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's probably worth closer to 30. I think that would probably be a respectable number for him. If you gave him $30 million a year, all right, you're not making too big of a decision that's going to affect your team long term.
Absolutely.
I think that's just kind of how it is. You want to lock up your young stars, and kind of like you drafted, you developed him. He already knows your system. You've had success with him, while not in the playoffs, but you've had regular season success with him. It's kind of like you don't want to rock the boat, essentially. And you feel like maybe if he takes that next step, your team could eventually, make it to the Super Bowl or possibly win one.
Absolutely.
So do you think that there's anything with the Cowboys just signing Andy Dalton that
I like that signing? I love that. They
kind of like that puts them at like the stronghold of the advantage with these Dak talks. Like
it for sure. I think it should, and I think that's the only reason why they signed him. Honestly,
I think that it definitely does not. I think Andy Dalton signed a backup quarterback contract to be a backup quarterback, and I think at the end of the day that the quarterback is the most important position on the field, and meaning barring risking injury, if you have a talented roster, you need a good backup quarterback. I mean, a team like I'm not going to say them, but maybe the Jets, it's like going out and signing Joe Flacco. I mean, it's a non-necessity. I mean, if Sam Darnold goes down, your team isn't really going to produce more with or without Joe Flacco. You need a good backup quarterback just in case your starting quarterback goes down. And I think that's the reason that they go out and sign a player like Andy Dalton. I think the other reason is the contract negotiation, is the just in case he does hold out, because we're seeing that a lot more in the NFL. Yeah. But I don't think it's a, hey, we can do this without you thing.
Oh, no, for sure. They're not trying to. It's essentially a safeguard and really helps them with contract negotiations, in my opinion. Yeah. I think you're signing Andy Dalton. You know, if Dak holds out, you're in good hands, because Andy Dalton's led the Bengals to, a large number of, postseasons. And while he hasn't had the success in the postseason, I think he's a very capable starter. And honestly, with the team as stacked as the Cowboys, and you have one of the best running backs in the league, you have a strong offensive line, they have a plethora of stud wide receivers. I think this team is primed for, they're certainly a playoff contender. And I look at Dak as kind of, I feel like it'd be disrespectful to say this, but he's a tier above like a game manager, in my opinion. Like, I think I feel like it's disrespectful to him to say that, but I think he's barely that tier above that, and he's trying to get Patrick Mahomes money. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
I don't think that Dak Prescott is a game manager. I think that in the sense of valuing your quarterback, he has never missed a game. He's played 4 seasons. He's played 16 games every single year. And I think that alone puts him a tier above the Carson Wentz's, the Jared Goffs, those people in those $32 to $33 million range. I think that his productivity as far as like touchdown to interception ratio, I mean, it's basically 3 to 1. So like that's a fantastic ratio.
That's a great ratio.
In the last, I mean,
better than Jameis Winston.
He's gotten better every year, which is the other part. Even when the team's been worse, he's gotten better. My thing is that I think $35 million is a complete fair offer, and anything more than that is bartering on the brink of superstar pay. I don't mind the next up mentality if he's getting paid the same as Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson signed his contract long term, like more of a long-term deal, and they basically put up the same numbers. I mean, Russell Wilson produces more with less, but they put up the same statistical numbers. And with Dak Prescott, I mean, the dude, 30 touchdowns last year, 11 interceptions, 4,900 yards. Like, he took a huge step forward. Mm-hmm. So in a year where he's supposed to prove it, he did. So I just don't think that $40 to $45 million is a realistic range.
Yeah, and I think like the biggest thing with Dak is you come into the league, you haven't had a losing season yet. Like, that speaks volumes to just your gameplay. We got John Z2 saying Dalton is a good signing. He's good with good players around him, and I'm saying that as a Bengals fan.
He is
Dak
a Bengals fan.
Greater than Red Rifle, in my opinion. And I agree. I mean, it's not that I don't think that Andy Dalton's going to come in and beat him out of a job.
Yeah, that's.
But I think he's a great insurance option.
No, dude, I think Andy Dalton at this point in time is the best backup quarterback in the NFL. There's not a quarterback that I would prefer to roll out other than Andy Dalton.
He's a capable starter.
Yeah. I think he got the shit end of the stick with Cleveland, or not Cleveland, with Cincinnati. And I think that ultimately, like, that team was moving on from him regardless of how he performed. You can't step into a team when they know that they're going to be giving up on you and perform well. He didn't have A.J. Green. He had a running back that has been basically irrelevant to a certain extent with Joe Mixon. I mean, I think Joe Mixon's a phenomenal talent, but he hasn't had anybody to block for him. Mm-hmm. Andy Dalton, I felt like, deserved more from what he got in that situation. I just don't think he's going to go in and be like, I'm the guy. Like, this is my team.
He has to, either Dak has to hold out or he's honestly, Dak's basically
Yeah.
run over by a train or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
But like you said,
it's his job.
this is a great team. You can roll anybody into that team, but there's nobody else I'd rather have out there in this state than Andy Dalton. I wouldn't want Cam Newton on that team. I wouldn't want Jameis Winston on that team. There's nobody else that has the same accuracy and arm strength that Andy Dalton has that can go out and produce exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, all right. Well, hold on. I'm trying to turn this camera around. All right, let's get into the next segment. Let's do Dis or Dak. Ryan, I'm going to hand it over to you, and let's see what you got.
So-
Dis or Dak?
So Colin Cowherd did a pretty good segment today, and we're kind of biting this off of him, but I got a good kick out of it, so I wanted to share it with you. So basically, I'm going to list off a quarterback, and you're going to tell me whether or not you want...
In the reflection.
You're going to tell me whether or not you want this quarterback or Dak. Cool?
I'm down.
All right.
Let's do it.
So we're going to start off with Matt Ryan. This or Dak?
Ooh, Matt Ryan's a good one because Matt Ryan, in my opinion, gets a shit end of the stick. I'm a big believer in Matt Ryan. Like, Matty Ice is a real thing. I'm going Matt Ryan over Dak purely because he's been there. Now, he blew the lead and they lost it, but he's been there. I mean, to drive your team that far, I think speaks volumes to like your talent level and your leadership.
I think it's a great, they're pretty close.
That's
in my opinion,
that's what's hard about
but
it.
I agree with Dean. I think Matty Ice is, it's like you said, he's been there. He's taken them to a Super Bowl. They actually had a massive lead. They blew that lead. He should have a Super Bowl ring, but he doesn't. And obviously I think you can hold that against him too. He blew that Super Bowl lead, and that's on the quarterback a lot of the times. But with that said, Dak hasn't won a playoff game yet. And so I'm going to give it to the guy who's gone to a Super Bowl over a guy who's never won a playoff game.
Agreed.
I'm going to disagree with both you guys.
You like Dak more?
And the biggest reason is that I don't like Matt Ryan without Kyle Shanahan. I think Matt Ryan minus Kyle Shanahan is not an MVP type quarterback. He's not a top 10 quarterback. I think Dak Prescott with Jason Garrett and the crap that he produces, I think Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Matt Ryan, in my opinion.
I think the only difference is that I think Dak has been surrounded by. Well, that's
Dude,
hard.
you
I
can't
can't
say
say.
that
I can't. No.
Guy's got better weapons.
But I think a
I don't know
better run game. He has a better run game, and the run game won Eli Manning 2 Super Bowls.
Both teams have had great weapons, I think.
They both had great.
I think that the Falcons have had better.
But
like,
you're
a
saying
plethora
Devontae
of
Freeman
weapons.
is better than.
No, I didn't say that. But I think the tandem of Devontae
yeah.
Freeman and Tevin Coleman at the time was a better tandem than just Ezekiel Elliott.
I'll take
I
Ezekiel
don't know, I'd
Elliott
take
over those
Zeke
two
all- yeah, I'd almost
all
take
day.
Zeke all
But I
day.
will say they have the
We
best.
just watched the 49ers get to a Super Bowl and having 4 running backs. None of them had close to 1,000 yards, and they just dog pounded over everybody.
I will say this: Julio is the best receiver, and so I mean, if you have Julio Jones on your team, you have the biggest security blanket you could get in the league. I mean,
And they had Sanu. No.
Yeah, they had Sanu. They also had he had Roddy White for a little bit
Roddy
too.
White's who I
That
was
was
thinking
the
of.
other one,
Yeah.
He had one of Calvin Ridley.
Calvin
He's
Ridley
a stud.
now, yeah.
He has weapons.
No.
Austin
Yeah.
Hooper.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, they both are loaded though. Like Amari Cooper's no slouch,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
is.
Well, I mean, Cole Beasley.
They got Cole
though,
Beasley,
but-
and who's the other guy that they got? Randall
bringing-
Cobb,
Yeah.
right? They got Randall Cobb. I mean, obviously Jason Witten's been.
They had Randall Cobb and stupid. We're not talking
All
about
right.
the Texans. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
We're going to move on to the next one.
All right.
Okay, so Ryan Tannehill or Dak Prescott?
Oh, this is.
I mean, that's easy. That's Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
all day.
I think we're taking Dak all day on
Okay.
that.
Yeah, give us some good ones.
I mean, I think we can
Okay.
we can kind of slam Ryan Tannehill if you want, but if you want to do that, but
Ryan, talk about a guy that doesn't deserve the contract that he just signed.
yes,
Ryan Tannehill does not deserve that contract in the slice.
Hey man, you ride that brick wall of Derrick Henry as far as it'll take you, and for
That's
him,
all-
it took him to a multi-million-dollar contract.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
I mean, the guy got hot when he needed to, and I'm not going to fault a guy who's
He-
going to take a massive contract when he has the
He
opportunity
did everything
to.
they asked him to do.
So-
he literally did everything they asked him to do.
Agreed.
Okay, on to the next one.
Also, he has a super hot wife.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think
or Dak
Sarah's on
Prescott.
this pod. No,
What was it?
Jimmy Garoppolo or Dak Prescott.
Oh,
I'm taking Dak.
I'm taking Dak, but it's hard.
So,
I'd take Dak. But if Dak is asking how much he wants now, I'm taking Garoppolo.
so this is what my thoughts on it. I feel like Dak, as of today, is the better quarterback, but I feel like Jimmy has more room to grow.
So for me, it's hard because Dak is a better quarterback, but Jimmy can get the job done.
Jimmy
my
can
eyes.
get the job done.
Like,
That's right.
That's my stamp
Jimmy
of
D.
approval. Jimmy G getting the job done.
I agree, man. I'm going Dak
2020.
on this one too. The next one, Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott.
I'll take Dak anyways. I mean, I think he's done fine. I mean, I think he's done great in the opportunities, but the guy can't stay healthy. And I'm going to hold that against you. You know, they say, what's that expression? The best ability is availability.
Yep.
He's never available. And Dak is always available. And, you know, both teams have had, you know, great weapons to play with. I would take Dak over him.
I think Carson Wentz is one of the most overrated quarterbacks. I think Carson Wentz is extremely overrated.
Not a touch, but go like this. It's the Demolition Man high five.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
He deserves that, though.
But does he deserve it?
He deserves the overrated title. Like, no, what I'm saying is, like, you calling him overrated, he deserves
He
that.
deserves that. Yes. Yes, I think he's
Like-
extremely overrated. So yeah, I'm taking Dak.
Yeah. I agree that Carson Wentz is the most overrated quarterback right now. And a lot of it is like what Brandon had just said. It's more about availability, and he hasn't been there. In this situation, I would be more apt to take Carson Wentz. And the only reason is that Carson Wentz has had very little help. And like he's had like obvious injury
compared
issues.
to the Cowboys.
Compared to Dak Prescott. So if I'm taking over as a head coach of a team, and this is just the way I'm thinking of this situation, I'm the head coach of the Chargers, and I have this team lined up in front of me, and I have Dak Prescott and I have Carson Wentz. I'm more likely to take Carson Wentz based off of what I have available to me right now. If, on the other hand, I'm the Bengals with the number 1 overall pick in the draft, I'm probably taking Dak Prescott because I think that the ceiling can be higher with less. You know what I'm saying? I think he can probably do a little bit more with less. We've never seen it from Dak, but that's just where I think. I think that the talent level and the ability to create plays. I'm sorry, with Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Not Dak
I was
Prescott.
like, you confused me. I'm like,
yeah, I'm sorry.
this doesn't make sense.
I'm like, wait,
They
who
got
are you
weird-
right
they-
now?
They both got weird names. I'm sorry, Carson Wentz. I'm more likely to take Carson Wentz because he can do little with less. So that's why it's like in both those situations, if I'm taking the better team, I'm taking Carson Wentz, and if I'm taking the worst team, I'm still taking Carson Wentz. So that's my guy.
Let me see this.
And
real
that's
quick. I just wanna see
and you're also removing the injury variable.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, if you're, you know, if you're banking on a guy not getting hurt,
Exactly.
you know, I think Carson's the way to go. But if you're looking for a guy who's going to play 16 games, or I guess 17 games now, you know, you're going to take Dak.
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to see if I can get John Z2 to go live with us because he is saying Carson Wentz over Dak.
Hey, that's my guy.
So
that's
I'm just seeing. I'm seeing if he'll
Do we have a
join.
charger back there anywhere for your iPhone?
I don't know. I might be
There it
able-
is. No, so the last one that I want to do.
Oh wait, here he is. All right, there he is. Hold on.
What's up, guys?
Hey!
Hello.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's Wisconsin?
It's pretty boring.
Yeah. At least you guys probably get to go to restaurants now, right?
Well, we have a brewery right across the street, so I've been partaking.
Hey, oh, there you go. We got some swinging fry right here.
Dude, missing the Southern California beer, that's for sure.
I bet, man. Oh, see, you got the quarantine beard going as well.
I'm just trying to keep up.
All right, so you said in the comments that you're going Wentz over Dak.
Yeah, I think similar to what Ryan was saying, he has less talent around him, and he, basically took them to the Super Bowl. So I know his health is definitely a major concern, but I'm still going Wentz over Dak because I think Dak is not, he's been blessed with great people around him his entire career.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna
Ceiling's
go with
lower.
Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Those are great arguments.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, man. I'm not gonna hang up on you, but I'm gonna stop the duel. I just wanted your opinion.
Tell Christina I said hi.
Hey, you know what? I'm just glad I infiltrated you guys with some Bengals.
Keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Hey, she's gonna like the next one I have too.
All right, here we go.
All right, so my last one is Dak or Tom Brady.
Oh my God. Obviously we're talking about current state. Man, I gotta go. I'm gonna take Tom Brady. I got to. I'm not like a huge Tom Brady fan, but the dude wins, and he holds his teammates to a high standard. And I feel like Dak. I think he's got great leadership qualities, but he doesn't have the leadership qualities Tom Brady does. And I'll just, from a physical skill set standpoint, I'm taking Dak over Tom, but I'm looking at the ability for a player to lead his team to a Super Bowl or to the playoffs. And we saw last year where, I didn't think the Patriots offensively had very many weapons outside of Julian Edelman. And he took them to the playoffs, even though they lost to the, Derrick Henry led Titans, who just fucking steamrolled them.
Just so we're clear, Leah says Dak over Tom.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
She hates Tom Brady, right?
So okay, I'm actually gonna agree with Leah. It's so hard. It's so hard to say that to go against Tom Brady because everything you just said. Clearly, he's a winner. He knows how to lead a team. He can build up. He makes everybody around him better. But at the same time, I think part of Tom's success is system.
I've been saying that his entire career. But.
So with Tom going to Tampa Bay, maybe he'll prove everybody wrong. He'll prove me wrong and drive that team to the playoffs. But at this point, I think that Dak Prescott is more malleable than Tom Brady is, so he'll be better in different systems than what Tom Brady would be. So I'd have to go Dak over Tom, even if it's for a short term or long term. That's where I'm going.
It's not even a question, in my opinion. And we forget Tom Brady is 43 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
I appreciate everything you're saying, but it ain't a one and done deal. I need this dude to be my quarterback.
But also you can't not admit that Tom Brady is a winner. And you can't teach winning.
Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game.
And you can't teach that level of success. A person to be that determined and want to go after it. I mean, shoot, we just watched that whole documentary about MJ and that mentality, and everybody talks about Kobe and the Mamba mentality. Tom Brady has that same mentality for his and work ethic. So it's you can't teach that. You can't teach that hunger.
It's not even close though. You're picking Dak Prescott. If I'm sitting there and I have a decision to make, Tom Brady, like I said, he's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. But when you look at the legitimate aspect that he's no longer with the Patriots and Bill Belichick, can you trust the quarterback to produce the same as he did before? But hold on.
All right.
If you put Tom Brady on the freaking Cowboys right now,
I would like the Cowboys' ability.
That's the tricky. That's the tricky question,
thing, right? Am I the GM or am I running my franchise? You know what I mean?
No,
but am I an NFL GM or am I running my video game GM? Am I doing it for the Cowboys? Am I doing it for so and so?
If this is a franchise mode or if it's a season mode, I would take Tom Brady in the season mode and you're going to take Dak all day in the franchise mode because you're
First
not.
of all, there's no conversation that we're ever having that it's a season mode. I don't know whoever got in this idea that we're a one and done type podcast. This is our 100th episode. We're in this for the long haul. So big picture here, guys.
Well, the question was
my commitment phobia's coming out.
The question was today, you know. So
No, but Dak Prescott would be the guy I'd pick over Tom Brady, and it's not on a talent level. It's not on a accolade level. It's
I'd definitely
purely
take it over on the talent level for sure. I'd take Dak over him, but from a
Hold on, wait. You think Dak is more talented than Tom Brady?
yes, right now,
No. Right now, you think Dak is more talented than Tom Brady?
yes,
There's no way that he's more talented than Tom Brady. There's no way.
yeah, he is.
Tom Brady has way better vision, way better arm strength, and accuracy.
definitely
than
does not
Dak
have the
Prescott.
arm strength of a
I think
younger
he has
quarterback.
I don't.
There's no way he's got that arm.
I was literally agreeing with you until you said arm strength.
Not
'cause
not arm strength like deep ball pass, but getting the ball on a line to your receiver in the spot that he needs it. It's like a combination. It's like accuracy squared.
that's a tough one though, because I don't know if Tom Brady gets the ball to the position that it needs to be or where the ball has to go. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but I feel like Tom Brady is the type of quarterback that it's always put the ball where it has to be and lets his receiver get it. I don't think that it's I'm going to get this ball to you where you are currently at. Like, he's not throwing up jump balls unless, obviously.
That's what. Yeah,
I think he's just a leader of men. I think he just does it better than any other quarterback in the game right now. Like,
Andy says age removes Tom Brady. If we're removing age, yes, absolutely. Tom Brady.
of course.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd almost choose anybody over it.
Age in there, it's Dak Prescott. Like,
and that's kind of where I'm at with the whole thing. And it's obviously it's hard to disrespect.
And knowing
GOAT,
what Tom
you know,
Brady's
like-
been doing, he's probably going to listen to our podcast and shove this up our ass and play till he's 50. So, I mean, we never know. Like, the
Well,
dude,
he'd shove it up your ass. Like, 'cause I actually went. I was on his side.
You were on Tom Brady's
see,
side.
he'll send me like
There
an
you go.
autographed football or something.
You'll be.
You were the one who stuck up for me. Those assholes were shitting on me over Dak Prescott.
He's gonna replace Mark Wahlberg with you.
Yeah. That's right. I'm gonna get like the sweet box or whatever with the press. I'm gonna be sitting next to Robert Kraft and
All right, who else you got for us?
dude, that was my last one. I mean,
I was thinking of one, and I wanted you to ask it.
I want
was
to.
it Phillip Rivers?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say Philip Rivers,
Well, then
but
who?
Baker Mayfield.
Dude, stop. Baker Mayfield, to me, and I've said it since he was drafted.
I know.
Baker Mayfield
I
is
know.
trash.
I know you said that.
Like, if anything, Baker Mayfield is a poor man's version of Dak Prescott.
I don't.
No.
I don't agree.
Tell me what Baker Mayfield does better than Dak Prescott, because it ain't winning.
Tell me what. So we're just counting it up to wins? I mean, if we're just counting it up to wins, then I'm choosing Tom Brady over Dak Prescott.
Okay, so if we're chalking it up to skill, Dak Prescott's faster. Dak Prescott has a better arm. Dak Prescott has better accuracy. He throws less interceptions. He throws more touchdowns.
I think so much of this.
I'd want to
he's
see.
surrounded by better talent because, like,
No, now he is for sure.
like the Cowboys surround him with every talented position in the NFL.
There's
the
something
Browns.
about playing for a good franchise, though. The Cowboys or the Browns franchise just sucks.
the
Like,
Browns just suck.
it just resonates, and it's just they say winning is a cultural thing, and like certain teams, they win easier. It seems like it just doesn't see like with the Browns. It seems so difficult to win games,
Dude,
and they have so much talent. Like the Padres, the same. You can make the same argument, and I hate to say this, but it's hard for us to win. I feel like we have a fantastic team. And I don't know why we haven't made the playoffs, or at least been a playoff contender. We have a great team, but
Look, Brandon, we're talking about the NFL right now. We'll get into your emotional stuff about the Padres later.
no. But what I'm saying, no, the argument's the same though. Like the Padres have had a history of losing in success, and that resonates with the ball club. And I feel like the Browns are kind of in that same place where they've developed this culture of losing, and there's zero accountability for the players. And I don't think it's fair to just single that all on one player, especially a young quarterback.
Tell me one player from the Browns that has gone on to have a successful NFL career with another team
well,
in the last decade.
The Browns haven't had a talented team until just now, so it's hard.
Well, I mean,
it's not a fair argument.
You could put Myles Garrett in there, but before he,
But he was drafted by them. He hasn't gone to another team and has.
No, he's saying who's left to go to a better team and have success. But they also haven't had. They've had a shitty team for a long time, and now they finally have a good team, and they still suck. And they should be doing great.
Look,
it's because they've already adapted this culture of, zero accountability for losing.
I'm good with a team with a player with a chip on his shoulder. My thing with Baker Mayfield is that his isn't even a chip, man. Like, that dude just resents everybody else, and he has little to no respect for the game of football. In general, to me, when I watch him play, when I watch him grab his nuts on the sideline, when I watch him throw the Oklahoma flag in the middle of the Ohio State freaking field. I mean, obviously those are things that happened when he was in college, but the same behaviors go into the NFL. He takes this like nasty attitude into a game, and he plays with too much emotion instead of confidence. And I don't think that. Maybe if he got drafted to another team, I'd pick Baker Mayfield. But at this point in time, I just don't see it. I mean, I don't see the downfield arm strength. I don't see the ability to get the ball to Odell Beckham Jr., who is arguably one of the best, or not arguably, who is one of the best receivers in the NFL. With all that talent surrounding you, it should come pretty naturally. And to him, it just seems like they're forcing everything. And they have a great running back. I think Nick Chubb is one of the better up-and-coming running backs in the NFL, and maybe it comes down to play calling. But if I'm picking a team right now, I'm not even touching Baker Mayfield. He's too much of a cancer.
All right, well, Johnsy he had another request for us to do Phillip Rivers, Dis or Dak.
Dis or Dak.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. I'd have to pick Dak. And the reason is that
Ooh, I like that one too.
Phillip Rivers, I mean, he's the early 2000s, late 90s version of what the quarterback position used to be. And we've seen that since they left San Diego, that his inability to move outside of the pocket makes it really easy to game plan for. The things that you can do when teams blitz you and the things that you can do when teams, play zone coverage, it makes it a lot easier to defend. For that reason, I would pick Dak Prescott. I love Phillip Rivers. I mean, he's one of my favorite Chargers of all time. I was bummed that he left, but I mean, I also feel like he's going to be in a good situation with the Colts. If I'm at the reins, I'm taking Dak Prescott.
So if we're doing season mode, I'm taking Rivers all day. If we're
no one ever does season. No,
but I'm saying, if I'm looking at it from if I'm trying to win this season, I'm taking Phillip Rivers over Dak Prescott. If I'm looking long term, I definitely want Dak because he's got room to grow. He's young. He's early in his career. Phillip's probably got 2 to 3 more years until he turns into a bum. But I feel like Phillip Rivers is. I mean, we forget this guy. Was an MVP caliber player for several years, and he's had. He took the Chargers to the AFC Championship game.
We're not asking about the player he used to be, though. We're asking about who would you want on your team right now.
I would rather have a guy who's been there, done that, than a guy who's never done it before.
A year coming off the most interceptions he's thrown in his career?
I would take Phillip Rivers has at least led a team to win playoff games in the past, and Dak has never done that. And he's taken a team to the playoffs in the past, and they've fallen flat on their face.
All right. Yeah, I mean, dude, any vote for Phillip Rivers is good by me.
I'm taking Dak.
Yeah.
I'm taking Dak. Easy enough.
You're never a Phillip Rivers guy, though.
So we have about a minute remaining on our Instagram Live. Everybody that's on here now, thank you for joining us. I'm about to put in some Zoom meeting notes. We're going to move over to Zoom. Wrap up our podcast, our 1 year. And yeah, thank you all for joining.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Well, we're not leaving just yet. I got to still type in this stuff. Let's do meeting ID. Ryan, it's on you. So just smile and Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. 610-855-5089.
Baker Mayfield. That's Enrique's boy.
Who, Baker?
Yeah.
Baker is his boy.
He's like me. He likes the Browns. We like the shitty teams.
I mean, I like Baker too. I think Baker's a good competitor. But the Browns overall just... We've talked about it before. It's just a culture of losing. You can't break that culture.
They just disappoint
of losing.
you. Like every time you have hope, they crush it. I feel bad for their fans. I think that's the only reason why I like them.
Yeah.
I'm like, their fans deserve better than this.
All right. And we're done. All right, well, we'll wrap up our recording here for the podcast and YouTube. Everybody that's joined us on Instagram Live and is going to join on the Zoom, thank you so much for joining. 100 episodes, guys. Absolutely incredible.
Absolutely.
Get ready for that 4-digit in several years.
But everyone, like we said, in 4 weeks will be our 2-year. Hopefully we can do something then, and you can all join us again. If not, thank you so much for listening to us throughout all 100 episodes, and we'll be back again next week.
See ya.
Later.